On today's exciting episode, we have the founder and CEO of Cleverchefs and Epic Caterers, Nick Collins. Now, his business over the last 8 years has grown from strength to strength with over 600 staff and a multi-million-pound turnover business. He talks about his journey and some of the ups and downs of running a business that we all know about. This was a great chat with Nick, so sit back and enjoy the episode. Now, don't forget to follow and leave us a review, as this helps us grow and reach more people. We are still morning, aren't we? Good morning. How are you? Yeah, good. Nick, you well?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Yeah, good. A short hop for you from the office, I expect to hear.
Yeah, not far, just round the corner. Just
where are you?
Just in the centre of town there.
Oh, yeah, okay, nice.
It's nice having people in the office.
We looked at the centre of town, didn't we?
Parking.
The parking was a big thing for us.
Yeah, we're going to be moving next year, actually. It's a bit of a short-term thing, so...
Yeah, so instead of moving to town...
Landlord's not listening, is he?
Instead of moving to town, we moved 50 yards.
Right, that's easy then.
Basically, as the crow flies.
Oh, we'll talk about that later. It was not easy, right?
It wasn't easy. We'll talk about that later, yeah. But, yeah, good. So, I guess just the listeners kind of know, bit of an intro into you, Nick. Give us a rundown who you are, what you do, where it all started.
Yes, my name's Nick Collins. I'm the founder and CEO of Cleverchefs Group, which has two brands in the hospitality world. We've got Cleverchefs, which is a contract caterer, has contracts with workplaces, education, and leisure facilities all across pretty much the UK. It's got about 90 sites. And then we've got Epic Caterers, which is our wedding and event brand. And we do about 600 to 700 events and weddings a year, private dinners and really high-end sort of luxury event catering.
600.
Yeah, it's we've got a really great team. Is that
condensed into a certain period in the calendar year? Is there more in August, June, July, August than there is in February?
Oh, absolutely. It does peak obviously in the summer months, as you'd expect. But over the years, I mean, a lot in midweek, a lot in the winter now, making a thing of winter weddings and yeah.
You've seen a lot more midweek. I went to a Monday wedding recently, and that was I've done some Wednesday ones, and Thursdays, but I actually did a Monday one. It was all right, actually. It was kind of like
it's good if you book the time off work. Why not? It's once you're in a wedding, it can be any day, can't it?
I always like to stay the night as well.
Yeah. Take a couple of days off.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it make it easier as a business person then to have that segmented out? So rather than having all of the work done every Friday, Saturday, Sunday in August, if you're getting a Tuesday wedding in February and that, at least you know staff-wise and all that, there is continuity and it's easier to manage that way than all bulked into a certain shorter time period.
There's pros and cons to it. So, it's nice to spread it out over the year, definitely. But then, you don't get some of the staff that you might get. Easier to get staff on a weekend. Yeah. Usually they're in college or uni or working in the week. And then, you think that spreading out maybe 10, 12 weddings over a week might be better idea. But actually, you need the team in the kitchen prepping it. Yeah. So there's pros and cons to each way, really. But it's good that we've got a consistent sort of business across the year. It's the key to our success in that has been consistency with our team on the ground. Epic Caterers is called Epic Caterers because our team are just epic. What they do is unbelievable. How they produce the high-end food they do consistently.
Do you get the what they call it, bridezillas? Is there strange requests every now and again?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I do part of my job, we've been going about 8 years now. I do miss actually handling the brides and grooms myself. It's funny. We were actually talking about it yesterday. We had a bit of a senior team meeting in the Epic HQ and we used to say we could write down what brides and grooms, are going to say before they come in the building for our first consultation because they all say the same thing. But yeah, you do get the odd few that, want something, but that's what we do. That's what, we were about making dreams happen really and making it different.
Yeah, because you tailor it to what someone wants.
Yeah, it's got to be. And when I started doing the weddings and events. That was the starting block for us, and that was the rub. Really, is like it's your biggest day. It's after a house is probably the most you're going to spend on any day or anything, and it's emotional. It's they've both, even the grooms, they've dreamed of this day for a long time, and that's very rare. There's not many days you dream of having. Not everyone's like that. Some it's just a bit of a day. But some people, you can see like in their eyes that this is the day, their hopes and dreams, what they wanted it to be. So to live up to that is incredibly difficult, because, but we do it time and time again. But, to deliver someone's, when the wedding's over and you look at them and they've had a few to drink, or they're having a laugh and they're with all their dear ones, there's no better feeling, amazing.
And the food plays a huge part in a wedding, doesn't it?
Definitely now, absolutely.
It's the buffet I look forward to in the evening.
Yeah, well.
Because usually, generally, what I find is the actual main meal's a little bit small on size for my liking.
Yeah.
But the buffet's where I make my money back.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
And that's kind of like where you'll find me in the front of the queue, normally. And if I'm not at the front of the queue, there's usually something wrong.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be an eating experience. It's a long day, isn't it? You need
exactly.
You need to have some highlights.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a kind of big thing. So 8 years ago, you started the business.
Yeah.
Where I guess where did it all start prior to that? I guess the love of food and cooking, and I assume you've been in the catering industry for a long time.
Yeah, so I've been a chef for since I was 16. So yeah, like 24 years now or something. So yeah, I'd been a chef for a long time in some great places. Worked in France on some yachts,
Nice.
London,
Nice.
Michelin star kitchens, and the contract catering world itself, and weddings and events, and yeah, just I've been on MasterChef The Professionals. I'm a real foodie, really passionate about creative food, making it look good, making it taste good. So never really had a massive desire to sort of go out on my own, if I'm honest. I think every chef's got that burning desire to sort of open a restaurant, and I haven't had that all my career. I wanted to I'd rather have been at the top of a big company and sort of take the lead there as a chef and use my food there. But and a situation happened, an opportunity arose, and I just grabbed it really. So it started, literally with a month's pay from my previous job. No loans, no nothing.
Wow.
And yeah, just a few luck along the way, right place, right time, and hard work.
No, as a business owner, there's no such thing as luck. It's predominantly hard work. I don't think luck.
The harder you work, the luckier you get.
Differ.
Yeah,
but I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people work hard.
Yeah.
They don't make the break. I think you've got to work hard. There's got to be. I was talking about the other day. It's like a cauldron. You've got to have quite a lot of things in there.
Yes.
But I'm quite conscious. Yeah, I'm good at what I do, and I'm passionate and I'm hardworking. So they're definitely what you need to succeed in any business. But I know there's snippets along the way where I've either met the right person or had the right break that, if I hadn't have been in that position at that time or hadn't have been in that place, I might not be where I am now. So I always hold that. I always try and stay humble with it because, I'm really, really proud of what we got.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a bit of imposter syndrome. You're like, hang on a minute, what am I doing? What have I grown this company to? But you've got to sometimes sit back and go, yeah, it's good. I'm proud of it. And then people, taking notice of us.
That's interesting, the imposter syndrome. Because I think a lot of people won't admit that. Maybe they're starting to do that, but is there times when you go, you have to take a step back? And
massively. I mean, Cleverchefs has been we were a local catering company doing well, growing really well from 2015 till COVID. So yeah, doing quite well. Before COVID, we managed to turn over about just under 3 million. It was successful. It was good. And we were competing against local businesses, local caterers, and, doing well against them. The pivot has been, we got through COVID, which is another story on its own, obviously, by doing some pivoting online. I'm very lucky that I create my own website, so I could just change at the drop of a hat, create a shop, do little things like that. We had a call once from the owners of the Wix headquarters in Tel Aviv. I thought it was a bit of one of them fake calls, and they were like, "We love the shop you've set up over COVID. Can we come and do a film on you?" So yeah. So they sent, because there was no films going on in COVID, they sent a 15-man crew, film crew from London, And they've done this. It's a video we can't really use. It's all about Wix payments and how fantastic it is. But it was like an amazingly shot film, and it was like 2 days shooting. So little things like that, lovely little nuggets. But coming out of COVID, I decided it gave me a real opportunity as business owners. We all have the ideas, we all have the things we want to do. But when you're in the business, it's hard to pause and stop and get that done.
Absolutely.
So COVID, of course, terrible for business, and but what it gave me the opportunity to do is go, right, okay, we're going to do that, but actually I can take myself away for 2 weeks and create this new arm to the business that I wanted to do. So we were always called Cleverchefs, but I wanted to put Cleverchefs into the contract catering world, where it served me well in my career. It's put me through. I've been to Culinary Olympics. I've been to done a lot of things. Contract catering world is an undervalued commodity, really, and a thing, because everyone just thinks of restaurants and hotels, and so I wanted to start it, and it was the perfect opportunity, really, perfect timing, because I knew that the big equity owned caterers turning over 100 million in this world were going and upsetting a lot of clients because renegotiating deals with COVID, because they so it needed that. I think it needed that little independent personal approach. And I built a little team around me, and we went to market, and I took on a guy in the middle of COVID where everyone else was being made redundant, and I just took a punt at it. And we went to market with it. And, in the last 2.5 years, we've increased the revenue, sales revenue by 10.5 million.
Wow.
We've won 90 contracts. And you're saying a pinch me moment, that's right, sorry, waffling on, but we are now up against and going into sales arenas and looked at as an established caterer by these really big caterers. So that's the moment I've sort of actually has pinched me moment. It's like, I can't believe I'm actually, alongside them. Obviously we're not as big as them, but we do as good a job.
Can I ask there, because you've come out this tunnel, and we don't like using the word, but you've mentioned a few times, can we go back into the C word of COVID and chat about, especially for your profession? How did you feel? What did
when
you do?
That announcement hit,
what
was it the Friday, was it? Or whatever, on March the 20th of March, and then
March 16th for me, it was, it was like, I think you try and bury these feelings, because it was...
the PTSD now, we're bringing this back. It's a good job you're sitting on a sofa.
Do you know what? I think if I had any advice for new business owners, you've got to pivot. You've got to, I know that's a bit of a cliche word, but it's how you react to situations in business is what makes you great. 100%. And I'm the last to back myself, and I'm not here sat with a big ego at all. But we were on an absolute, going gun-ho, great weddings, award after award after award. And then this came, and, a few of my staff were like, oh, Nick, this might, they're saying this could do something to weddings. Like, who'd have ever thought? And I was like, no, don't be silly, it'd be fine, blow over. And then, a couple of venue owners phoned me and started chatting a bit, and I started to sit up a little bit. I was like, okay. You just can't comprehend it, can you? You didn't think it could happen.
That was the thing, wasn't it? You literally,
I'm not going to say that
gather pace, didn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, so we got that call to say that, we are now not allowed to do weddings March the 16th. And it was just like, unbelievable. We had 520 weddings on our books. We had conference centres around the country doing stuff. We had so many things just cancel. I think the saving grace for us was like our brides were at a good level where, they knew the venue owners worked with us really well, and we postponed weddings and give them new dates. We only had about 6 cancellations, which could have gone badly. If they'd have all cancelled, I wouldn't be sat here running a business now.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, to all them brides and grooms that believed in us and looked at the bigger picture, some cancelled 2-3 times, some 4, pushed it down the line. And that, so when I say luck, that's what I mean about luck in business. If
Yeah,
luck's
yeah,
on
I
your
get that.
side, you know, venue owners being really, really considerate for their own sake as well, but working together. And bride and grooms actually going, wow, as a business, that's an impact for them. So let's, you know, so yeah, we, you know, that was 2 weeks. And for the first 2 weeks, I was at home, crazy, like, you know, doing what everyone's doing, sculling around looking for food and, you know, like something out of cave days. But yeah, I'm not one to sit at home. So like 1 week at home, I was climbing the walls. So realized I could just do this online delivery. So I was one of the first, for sure, to start these online, you know, not before delivery and all that, but you know, as a caterer, getting afternoon tea boxes and
I can see what were you starting with, afternoon tea and
we come up with so many creative things. So afternoon tea boxes start, and we had. So I thought, right, well, I'll just do this. Everyone was furloughed, and I printed off. I set it up on the website, and it looked fantastic. And my phone was pinging every time we got an order, and I printed off the 70 orders we had. And I went in and like, you don't think actually how much 70 bits of paper looks like when you print an order. So tried to look at them, put them all out on the floor. And I phoned my colleague Rox and I said, I think you better come in and help me because this, we got logistically, you know, we got 7 or 8 vans. So I thought we could deliver these, but logistically it sounded like a nightmare. So I was a bit like, oh, what have we done? And then VE Day was the next week, I think it was. And I got 800 orders.
wow.
Because everyone's at home,
Wow.
right? Just going, oh, that looks good on Facebook. Bang, I'll buy that.
And that's what was happening because like we did a lot of that. Like, you know, I think we ordered like one of those, I think it might be Beefy Boys burgers or something like that, where the whole thing came with a potato.
Yeah, that's it.
And like literally everything was bizarre. And some of those things were bonkers prices as well.
Yeah, I mean, we were delivering it. Luckily, we had a contract with Admiral. Actually, we were in one of their main call centres in town.
Yeah.
So they would just phone us up and go, "Hi, can you deliver 300 afternoon teas for us?" You're like, "Yeah, all right." You know, so logistical, different. You know, I found myself as a delivery driver in the middle of COVID, like, you know, driving a van, dropping off door to
Quite nice
door.
to be out and about though, really, when everyone else was.
It was fun. Yeah, it was, you know, there were tough days when it was one of my first weeks when I was like, I Googled how many packages does Amazon deliver a day for a driver? And it was like 90 or something. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I'm a bit like quicker than that. And I was like, so I took on 110 and we just, we missed a few deliveries towards the end of the day, but you know, that was our first learning curve really. But yeah, we had every box you could imagine, bloke boxes for Dad's Day, Mother's Day. We even done about 400 Christmas dinners at Christmas in December. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was fun.
It's a different way of working. I'm originally from the little village in the west of Ireland, and there's about 3,000 people. And one of my friends has set up a bike shop many years ago, and he got into, before it even became a big thing, online retail for bikes. And when we were allowed to travel again, when you said that, he thought when COVID kicked in, he'd be dead. And all of a sudden, he went up to the shop, and there was just bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
Loads of the bike people, like, you couldn't get a bike.
And he said he was ordering stuff from America.
Wow.
And he showed me his warehouse, and it was X amount of feet high, and he had 7 different storage units for the bikes. And he said they weren't even coming in that quickly. There was a DPD were arriving with 4 trucks every day. They were taking the sticker off, and they were basically putting another sticker back on.
Yeah.
And that's how quick it was. And you said, and our biggest supplier, everything was coming from America, and then he was sending it back to America.
Yeah.
And making profit on that. But he said the bike trade, he said he was doing 20-hour days in the bike shop for about 4 months. And he said, never again. He said, it nearly killed me. He said, good money. He said, money became irrelevant. I made so much money that it wasn't important. I've suffered physically, mentally, emotionally.
Yeah.
And a bit like you said, the orders just spiraled out of control, and he had to fulfill them. Otherwise, he'd get potentially a bad reputation. He said, I don't want ever to go through that again. It was great. I'm sorted for a while now.
Yeah.
But he said it wasn't enjoyable. So I'm presuming delivering 110 a day kind of was a bit of fun, but
I mean, we used to hire-end catering. So you're doing an event for, you know, a fair amount for that day, considering, you know, we would do, you know, hundreds of stuff out delivering, you know, 20-hour days were just a regular occurrence for half the things half the money we were doing before. I managed to turn over $1 million in COVID throughout that year, and it got us by. It paid the bills. We didn't make anything out of it, and but if we hadn't, we wouldn't have a
different
business.
Story, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Where were you trading out of then?
So we've been around the corner from here actually in Cardiff and in Cardiff Bay for 7.
I got your kitchen in there and everything.
Yes, we've got a few now dotted around the country. We've got a nice development kitchen in Bristol and some stuff around the country. But Cardiff's our main hub for Epic.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Is there different requirements from different people based on the different geographical areas that they're in? Do you find it's not easier or harder to deal with people, but it's you deal with different people in different ways based on where they are based?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm trying to put that in the nicest way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is very interesting. Even now when we're in schools, we've got, like I said, we've got, close on 86 schools, and we do a primary menu, a secondary, a further education. And the differences in the area is crazy. Like, you'll get a school say, we don't want roast dinner because the kids don't really like it. And then you'll do a menu without it. And then you get a school say, you can't take roast dinner off. Kids will cry. You get that with, when we see weddings and brides and grooms and all walks of life, the eating habits are very regionalised. I think Cardiff, they love the familiar comfort food, this pushing through. I think we've got a really great Cardiff food scene coming through at the minute. It's really nice. Bristol's always had a bit more of an edge going forward, I think. I think people in Bristol know what they like, know what they want, and know how to eat. And obviously a big part of our Epic of custom base. So usually before COVID were London professionals that were from this area or Bristol or whatever, coming back, been eating top end food for whilst they're working there, and they come back to mum and dad and get married, and they actually want to bring their vibe and their cool things they found or whatever, bao buns or whatever it was,
Yeah. The Cardiff scene's interesting food at the moment. I'll get your take on this. I think there's too many chains in Cardiff now.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a reason for that? Because you go to other areas, maybe they're bigger and stuff, but I generally find Cardiff is just chain after chain after chain. I'd like to see more local type stuff going on. Maybe
absolutely. I think it's always been the same. I think an independent is always a better bet. I actually got admiration for chains, and that's probably chefs are going to turn their grave listening to this, the processes. What you need to make a great hospitality business is to have really great training, processes, purchasing deals, and structure. The sad thing, where I would like to see some support for independence from the Welsh government or whatever, for more guidance and help, because as creatives, as chefs, we start these businesses and then we forget about all the stuff behind the scenes or the making all the you need a member of staff, you just hire them, you're like, yeah, come on then, let's go. A chain like Wagamama, you're 6 weeks training before you're allowed to touch food. If you're an independent, you need that chef to start because you haven't got a chef Saturday night.
Exactly that.
So you're not sending anyone anywhere for 6 weeks. So that's the little bit. But, we can all safely say you go to a chain, you know what you're going to get most of the time. It depends what chain. But yeah, we all love independence, of course, because we want to see, food is about love, passion, creativity. We want to see that. We want to see someone's flair on a plate. I couldn't imagine ever being a chef in a restaurant being told what to cook. That I would have never done it. It just wouldn't have been me. I put on the plate what I want to put, and that's what I want to eat. I want someone's interpretation. And
I think that's probably coming from my point of view, is that I want that flair in food, and that's why I quite like going to the restaurants like James Summer and places like that, because there's heart and soul and flair that's gone into that type of food. Where I think I get a little bit disenchanted by the change, because it's the same old. Yeah, generally you do, the service is different because it's regimented and this is how they kind of do it. Don't get me wrong, there's some chains, their service is terrible. And I think that's just the way they train them. But yeah, I think that's a big thing for me, is the kind of the flair of the chef themselves. Because I started out in whitbread.
Oh, nice. Okay.
When I was in university, before I started university, I worked in pubs and restaurants. I worked at Whitbread, and then became one of the youngest area managers to ever be in Whitbread when I graduated. But I worked in the kitchen. One of the big things I did wherever I kind of went was I used to go to some of the ones which needed turning around. So I went to Taunton, went, sort of down Swansea way, all over the kind of country, trying to help turn some of the not so great ones around. But I always used to, as soon as I went in there, I'd work with the chambermaids. I'd work in the kitchen just to see what was going wrong with that. But exactly that. You were told exactly what went on the plate, and you had a spec sheet which said the steak goes at like sort of 11 o'clock on the plate, chips go over there, the peas go over there, and it was exactly, everything was to that kind of spec.
Well, there's different.
There was no flair. There was no flair to cooking. You were just, as always, you say a microwave technician. Exactly,
and I mean, there's different. Hospitality. I genuinely love it. I can't think of anyone loving it more than I love it. Right, but you've got to see different areas of it. If someone's staying away for business, then they just want to eat. They're just eating. They're not bothered. They don't need to. Their taste buds tingle that evening. It's just they're eating. So there's a time and a place for everything, and I think there's room for everything. But of course, if we're foodies like ourselves, we want to go and eat in them nice places like James Summerins, and people who we know that before we got there, they've been stressing, rushing. And technically, if you want to eat out now with all the the stuff you can get in Marx's and Waitrose, and we could do nice things at home, right? So cooking even easy food. You want stuff that you can't do at home. So 100%. That's what you want to go out. You want a thing that, how did they just do that? Or the flavour on that's amazing. So that's what you want to see.
Can I go back to the Wagamama thing and just bear with me? You said, there is a process to follow and all that. As a business owner, and you've mentioned the word, I'm going to say half a dozen times as at least, creative. So you need time and space to go away and come up with ideas as your main role. However, as a business owner, you have to wear many hats.
Yeah.
And we've noticed it here about our carpet laying a few weeks ago. We can go into that later. But how do you do that as a business owner? And I know, when you said earlier, you've got 600 and you'll have a management team and all that. But even when you start with running a business on your own and it's you, and then you climb up and you have 3 people and 5 people and all that, how, as a business owner, do you cope with having all those hats? Because fine, you might delegate the hats to other people over time, but as you grow and grow, you still have hats, and you still probably have many hats. How do you deal with all of that? Because that's the employed person probably doesn't see all the hats you wear as a business owner.
Yeah. There's no way around it, and it's a great question because you've got to live it. If you're going to do, so whatever I've done from all my life, if I'm going to do something, I commit to it, and you have got to live and go, right, I am doing this, and you've got to have a drive. So I've got many things that drive. I've got reputation. I want to keep my reputation well, but mainly I've got to, I've left great paying jobs to come and do this. So I had to. So at the start, it was about, right, I have to earn as much money as I earned then. I got 2 girls, to look after. I think you've got to live it. You've got a lot of business owners. I see them, I hear people, and I'd like to, eventually move into helping businesses once I've done my thing. But a lot of people are like, well, yeah, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this person to do that website, and then get this person to do that, and I'll have more time because I work for myself. I think, you're going to last no time at all, mate, because you have got. So my idea is, you're right. You've got to have downtime. So I probably, until I literally sleep, I'm constantly thinking about the next idea. Because you're right. In the day, I've got things happening all the time, and that's been for the length of running this business. So I'm all, you've got to have that downtime. Sometimes I get an hour in the day, grab some lunch, walk around. Some John Lewis is like my haven, just chill. It's calming, and you can think of things. Then you think of an idea, rush back to the office and get it down on paper. But I have some weeks where I'm like, I haven't thought of anything new for a minute, and I'm just firefighting, and that can bring you down as a business owner. Totally take you to a different place. So that's really difficult. You've got to, I'm not one for having long breaks or, being away, but some days you do need to just sit there and go, right, what are we doing? I think that's the biggest challenge we all face as business owners, isn't it?
Yeah. I think we're very poor at shutting off from the business as business owners. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think it's always healthy. Don't get me wrong; it's good to kind of keep doing, but it is good to, and we try to do it more and more now. Is just take that little bit of time a day, even if it's just going for a wander around the block here, or that little bit of time out. Like we will now, and that's a little bit like we got the pool table and the darts table here. Like he'll be suddenly go, right, I've been out this now for an hour and a half. Let's have a game of pool. Get the pool table, bang. That's all we'll do.
It's a good idea.
I hope my wife is not listening because she's convinced that's all I do.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
No, but it's not though, is it? Like literally, like I think was it Friday? We were flat out doing something, both of us, and you were like, right, I can't do any more. Let's take a break from it. And instead of going for that walk around the block, we kind of do that. I mean, and I think you kind of do. Like I'm similar to you. Like I don't take a huge amount of breaks. We do go away, and I'm trying to do more of it now.
Yeah,
because I think it's good and it's healthy. And I went away for a week this year, but we had stuff going on in the business that I had to be contacted, didn't I? When normally I can shut off every day. I was having to do something. I was on calls like that, which is not normal. And I kind of felt that I didn't give 100% to my family when I was away then. Do you know what I mean? Because of it. Which we've said needs to change. Like next year, I don't want to be doing that. I want to I'll pick up some messages, but generally, Claire here takes care of all my emails. I generally don't particularly answer any of my emails generally, and I'll just pick up on stuff. But it's good to take that step away sometimes, I think.
Absolutely, and I'm guilty. I need to do it more. I think there's different types of businesses. If you're running a lifestyle business, it depends what your goals are, what your ambitions are. I've got big dreams, big ambitions. I've always been the same. I want to grow this to over a £50 million company within the next 4 years. And we're on target to do that.
That's superb.
Nice. I love that.
That's huge numbers.
But if I'm committed to doing that, then I got to do it. But you can't have everything. You've got to sacrifice something along the way. And it's just trying to keep that balance of not dying or getting ill or not seeing your family or whatever.
Yeah.
If you've got to just do what you've got to do, really, and you've got to enjoy what you're doing and just try your best, really. But,
and as much as we say about all the hats that we wear, they're all the plates that you have to spin as well. And that's difficult, and it takes a special person, not that we're better than anyone else as a business owner, but you have to have probably a different mindset to be able to continue to spin all those plates, because the moment one of those plates stops spinning and falls has an impact on the rest of them itself. But for me, maybe I'm a bit strange. I love the speed of something and getting things done last minute and having the, I'm not going to say the stress. Yeah, the rush, the adrenaline of getting things done. I like being busy all the time. I don't like downtime.
Yeah.
And I know Gareth will message me, late at night and something to come up with an idea. And we're lucky enough as business owners, and we've said this to numerous people, that we can bounce ideas off each other and stuff like that.
Really
Whereas a singular business owner may think this is a great idea and run with it, and it'll cost both time and money and maybe have a negative impact. And that's what we've seen lately and over time, is that the business owners they need to speak to other business owners. There needs to be not a networking of, I need you to do my website, but there to bitch about having a bad day and throw ideas out at people and kind of go, you don't want to be doing that.
And also the thing of like, you can say something to somebody and they'd be like, yeah, I had the same problem. Do you know what, this is how I dealt with it? And you're like, I didn't think of that.
Exactly.
And I think, and that's something we want to develop, especially in South Wales to start with, is that kind of safe haven, because there's a lot of kind of networking type groups out there which bring business owners together, but they're generally not run by business owners who've actually really run businesses and been in like I've run online retail companies. Like I exited an online retail company in COVID. I've run a few different ones. Some of them have failed. Some are still running, which I have equity in. I've had property. We've run. You've been 17, 18 years self-employed now. Something like that, is it?
Probably.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I me slightly similar. Do you know what I mean? It's tough out there, and people don't kind of realize. And And we're lucky, like I say, because we can bounce ideas. If we're like yesterday, we had a whinge yesterday when we came in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't particularly about business. I think it was just general life whinge, wasn't it, yesterday? But we had to get out of our system. When you're starting out, as you probably knew, you know what I mean, you didn't have that, did you? And you can moan to your friends, but if they don't run a business, they don't understand.
It's again, we were having this conversation with the team yesterday. We were talking about you should only moan upwards. And we're trying we're trying to get them to not moan. So we're all guilty of it. We can all, because that has been one of my biggest challenges as a sole business owner. It's all very well getting your senior team, and I've had some super senior people from some amazing experience in my team, over the last few years. But even them, you bounce an idea, they will disagree, they'll challenge you. But it doesn't feel as, they're not making the decision with the head of their business. Yeah. So, I do miss, I wish sometimes I'd started as a bit of a duo. A lot of catering companies are duos in the big world. There's only a very slim few that are on their own. So it's very, very niche what we do. But that duo does create that sort of, there's usually one that excels in different departments.
I can imagine one's a chef, one's a BDM.
Yeah.
Generally, probably something like that, isn't it? Where one's been on the floor.
Yeah.
In front of the clients, the others in the background doing all the development, all the chefs. I kind of get that.
So super lonely place sometimes.
Yeah.
Can I go back to, you said there the morning upwards only? What or how do you keep, or do you? We all have the shit days, and we all our moments in time. How do you keep the happiness or the happy face in front of the staff? And I know they're all remote and that, so I know it's not 600 a day, but how do you, keep that positivity or happiness going, or do you let it down? Do people kind of see you, it's a bad day, leave me alone? Or as a business owner, how do you manage that?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Our industry is very emotional, so like I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I don't like things being wrong, especially food service. So that is, I'm trying to grow. Like every day I'm growing. You never stop learning in any walk of life. But as a business owner, I'm trying to, do things, go to meetings, go to, other things to grow my sort of way. Because, I always go back to, I'm a chef, so I'm a bit of a pain sometimes, back in the, I'm far removed from where I was in the kitchen, chucking something around or being mad that there was a smudge on a plate. I'm not that person anymore, but I've still got a long way to go. And I've worked with even colleagues I've had recently in the last few years, their way they handle situations, I've learned a lot from. Take the emotion out of it, look at the situation, look at the problem. And I'm not always best at that. I'm wear my heart on my sleeve. Yeah. I'm passionate. But I'm getting there, I'm getting better. So just keeping, I do keep, hopefully my team would say I keep a good face in front of them. They can tell when I'm not happy with something. But they know it's always just through their love of food. There's no ego. There's no ulterior motive. I don't need to be the big, we try and do a flatline structure. We try and say, anyone can phone anyone. I think that's the important thing. I think if you can get carried away in your head of like unapproachable or, sitting in your ivory tower, and then your team just lose respect for you. But massive, really great questions because, when I was running the business and I was in on the tools and my team were very different. We all really had each other's backs. And, when I grow to the, like I said, nearly 600 staff now, I haven't met some team members. That's scary. So like, sometimes I go to the kitchen and I don't know who a couple of people are. That's a new world for me. It's pretty scary. They look at me like, and then, someone might say, oh, that's Nick. And it's like, don't say that. Like we're all just, and then they get a bit.
Frightens people.
Yeah. I mean, it gets a little bit, but I hate that. That's the biggest thing. Everyone who joins Cleverchefs, I want them to feel like they can just ring you or be at ease. Because I love history. And, I think back to like, it must have come from the workhouses, the big tall hats and the cane of the bosses who 100%. Created this culture of don't talk to the owner, like he'll hit you or whatever. Because I don't understand, I really need everyone to be able to be fluid. I think every business owner, if we're all honest, in every business, whatever size, you want your team to be able to say, oh, you're an idiot. That was stupid. And it not be, of course it could be respectful, but it not be a problem because we don't have all the answers. We're not perfect. We own the business. But we don't all make right decisions every day. I love it. My marketing team sends me a poster and I just like, oh my God, I wouldn't even change any of that. That's amazing. I'm like, it's the happiest. It makes me the happiest ever. Or, we win a job and I wasn't involved in it. It's the best feeling.
Yeah. It is. It's, but yeah, there's some really interesting points coming in. And I think the big one I like is you say you're always learning. And I always kind of say, if you're not learning, you're dying.
Yeah.
And I think as soon as you stop learning in a business, you're arrogant enough to think you know it everything.
Yeah.
That is the end of your business, probably.
I think so, yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there, I think, they think they know it all, but we're constantly learning. Do you know what I mean? All the time. We're trying to evolve. We're trying to be a bit different in our industry because it's a very old-fashioned industry. Average age is still, I think, 56, 57 in our industry.
Okay.
We've got a few years yet to then, but
Not many.
No, we got a few. We got over 10 years. But I think you've got to evolve in business, haven't you?
Absolutely.
You've got to change. You've got to keep moving because otherwise nothing's going to kind of change.
It's just life in general. Talking about the food scene in Cardiff, it's like, I was talking to some other my friends the other day. We think that every restaurant got a shelf life. I think 5 years. I think you've got to change. You've got to, redevelop, new offer. The world moves fast now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, you've got to be with it.
No, it does. And you do see some of the chains who don't redevelop. And actually, I'd say a good example of that, and I'll say it on here, is TGI Fridays. Do you know what I mean? Like I always loved TGI Fridays. I kind of grew up with that kind of brand. But one of the ones in Cardiff just gets it wrong every time. But I keep going back there, hoping they're going to get it right.
Yeah.
And they get it wrong every time.
Yeah.
But nothing changes in the decor doesn't change. The way everyone, like kind of customer service, doesn't change in there. That's
the bits of business I love delving into why businesses work, what they do and how, because you look at TGI Fridays and actually their menu's pretty good.
Yes.
I always think, because this sounds, I hope there's no catering people listening because they're going to shoot me down, but I love the Harvester brand, right? I always think
salad cart.
Well, I always think, right? I think the process, the idea, the menu, the salad bar, I think loads of people love it, but the food's rubbish most of the time.
Yeah, it is.
Right? I always think about these chains. If we stuck really great, passionate chefs in there, you would have a recipe for success, excuse the pun. But imagine Harvester run by the best chef in Cardiff. I mean, you'd be killing it because it's amazing. The ideas from probably head office development. When I read the menu, I'm like, yeah, that could be good. I know it's not going to be that. I know it's not going to be the tenderest chicken, I know the mixed grill isn't going to be the best steak from a farm in Usk. But imagine it was. Exactly. I'd love to have done that. I'd love to have done, walked up to the salad bar and I've got Ottolenghi style salads and I've got fresh salad bar and I've got, it would be amazing. So that sort of excites me. So TGI's, I think it's a shame because it has got potential.
Oh, 100%.
But it's just all about scalability, processes, wrong products on the they're always sticky. The tables are always sticky, and it's what I've associated with it.
Yeah, and we always had the same problem with Whitbread. We always had the same. They were part. I don't know whether they still are part of Whitbread, but they were before. And it all came down to using the cleaning fluid on those tables. And we were told by the guys who just come in from the cleaning company saying that this would literally take the lacquer off the table, so they're going to get sticky. Mm-hmm. But no one ever did anything about it. No. They were like, "Well, we still keep using that cleaning solution."
Yeah.
Well, why? I brought it up once in a meeting. I was like, why are we doing that? Why are we not changing that?
I think a massive part of it in hospitality is the people we have in hospitality. There's some absolute superstars. But in other countries, America, France, it's seen as a career. And, in Britain, it's seen as a job if you haven't got another job.
Yep.
And that's the sad thing, really. It's got better over the years, I think, but there are still people who just do that work because they're not doing anything else. And I can't think of a more skilled, well, of course there is, but it's a skilled, intuitive, really service-led job, which you need to be really tactile to be in. And sometimes we just put people in the wrong places. Absolutely. We talk about it all the time in Cleverchefs. We strategically position our team it's, I don't know, one of my favorite films is The Founder.
I love that film.
It's just
That's brilliant.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect how they draw out the kitchen in the tennis courts. But they hit the nail on the head. If you've got the wrong person on the wrong place, the wrong host, the wrong person on the till, the wrong person making cocktails, you've got a recipe for disaster. But if you mix it around, it could work. So yeah.
I think you apply that to virtually all business.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you've got the person who should be customer facing, not customer facing, the person customer facing should actually be the one doing the admin, type of stuff, because that's where their strength is. That's where it's a recipe for disaster, isn't it?
People get bored. So if you're doing a role, if you've got a role that's boring, like you need to check that out and like mix them up, do something different.
Yeah, because that was something that when I was working at Britbread, I brought in was when a new starter starts at any sort of management level, they have to work in every area of the business.
Yeah.
They have to work with the chambermaids. They have to be changing rooms. They have to work on reception. They have to work in the kitchen. They have to do a night porter one as well.
Yeah.
Because you need to understand every facet of the job and actually understand what the people who are doing those jobs for you feel like and what it's like for them to do it.
Of course, because everyone thinks their role's the hardest, don't they?
Yeah.
Everyone thinks their role's the most important. But if you understand it, definitely it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
We usually finish up by saying, what's next. But so when you get to 50 million, you're exiting and you're buying into Harvester and you're going to change all the chains.
Yeah, well, I'd probably, if in the future I got out of this business, probably do something different, to be fair. Probably, yeah.
Do you think? You think you come back and do a bit of consultancy stuff?
Yeah, probably. I want to have a little bit of a dabble in property maybe, or just, I don't know, something I like. Yeah. I could, use your creativity in other ways. Interior design, something like that. I don't know, might never happen. I do love the food industry and service too much, but we'll see. It's a tough gig.
Yeah, it is. Great. Thanks, Nick.
No worries. Thanks so much.
Very much. It was really enjoyable.
Cheers. Thank you.